nature, it's all about the end. So this is a follow-up to the concepts made clear on nature. I'm going to give you again the definition. A principle in things that exist by nature, and those things we normally call natural things, a principle in natural things of moving from potentiality to actuality and then resting in that actuality. The end, incredibly important term. The end refers to the actuality that is the fulfillment of the potentiality of that natural thing. So when we refer to the end of a thing, that is its state of full flourishing, of being fully actualized according to its kind. That's where we would use the term according to its nature. So let's talk about this pear tree for a moment. So it exists by nature. It has, at the beginning of its existence, many potentialities have not been fulfilled yet. It has the fullness of what it is to be a pear tree. It's definitively a pear tree when it's a little teeny pear tree. But nonetheless, there's so much more it needs to do and become if it's really going to be a pear tree. This is the kind of paradox. This is what's written in to everything that exists by nature. Again, most obvious in living things. Nature, of course, is a hierarchy. That's why there's nothing wrong with looking towards the higher things to understand nature better. Because really all of nature is ultimately about life. So again, the natural things, they're striving. They, according to what they are, they strive to become more fully what they are. A baby pear tree is a pear tree. But if it doesn't achieve certain things it's clearly growing towards, striving towards, then in some sense you'll say, well, it is a pear tree. It never became a fulfilled, actualized pear tree. It never came to the fullness of what it is to be a pear tree. The end is that state of kind of full actualization, the fulfillment, the flourishing of whatever it is of that natural kind that we're talking about. So think about this pear tree. I planted this pear tree. It's actually an Asian pear tree. I planted it when it was really young. And for the first several years, it has produced no fruit. It's still totally an Asian pear tree, but hasn't yet produced fruit. Now, this one has produced fruit. Right now, in this last season, it came to the point where it had grown out the leaves, had those blossoms. They're clearly striving towards then producing that fruit. And in the fruit, then that fruit falls to earth, and in it is the seed from which can come another pear tree. Kind of full actualization of a pear tree in its kind of full size and health and bloom, literally, of then reproducing another of its kind. I mean, this is the flourishing of a pear tree. This is where you really have a sense fully of what the thing is, to understand really what a natural kind is. You understand it most of all when you see its full flourishing. To understand natural things, we need to understand their ends, that full actualization of what it is to be what they are. Now comes a point that absolutely blows circuits. Each kind has its natural fulfillment, its natural end, but then another astounding feature of the natural world is the way the ends are interwoven. The ends actually are interwoven in such a way that in this one's achieving its end, that's part and parcel of other natural things achieving their ends. Think of how when the fruit falls to the earth, so many animals are going to be nourished by that fruit. And in their very being nourished by it, it's actually moving that fruit towards its being what it is for the sake of reproduction. For instance, the deer that comes and eats it and then takes the seed and, as it were, plants it someplace else. There's so many things you could say. Right over there is a forest. One astounding thing of nature is a forest where you have the interwoven ends of the various natural things acting in astounding, mysterious harmony. This is nature. You couldn't make such a thing up. This isn't reading into it. This is beginning to discover what's there. the inner dynamism of things exist by nature towards their fulfillment, and then in this astounding interwoven way. What if I leave you with, what if key to the fulfillment and actualization of human nature is that in our rationality, we come to see better and better these very truths we've begun to examine here about the natural world? What if coming to grasp and see that is an essential part of human nature's achieving its end, in which, in some way, it will come to rest?